shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't leave it even if he could. 'Cause life is good, yeah!
Hey, Hickok45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from Middle Tennessee, beautiful Middle Tennessee. Yes, the home of Alvin York, Davy Crockett, Dolly Parton, and let's not forget, someone reminded me of Jack Daniels. No, I'm not promoting whiskey drinking, but you know, it is the home of Jack Daniels, right here in Tennessee. I've been through the distillery a couple of times, in fact, in my life. Very interesting. Not a big drinker, but very interesting tour, and Tennessee's famous for that place. You know, so what the heck? Everything in moderation, except shooting, of course. Don't worry about moderation in shooting. So what are we going to talk about today? I don't know. I got a list of things. Man, we've been playing with a lot of different guns. Some you haven't even seen yet. Just odds and ends. Been a couple of weeks or more since I've done a radio show, quote unquote. So I thought I'd chat with you today. I'm off. It's MLK Day and a Monday. So I'm out in the reloading room hanging out with Gunner's in and out. And we'll just chat about a few things. How about that? You know, speaking of MLK Day, and that for those of you who might not know, particularly around the globe, that is Martin Luther King Day, and a lot of places consider that a holiday, and it is a holiday. So let's say a couple of things about that. Yeah, I don't know everything there is to know about Martin Luther King. I do know that as a shooter, and I think all of us as shooters, you know, we can't help but I don't know, have respect for people who fight for rights. You know, particularly when somebody's rights are being denied in various ways, or people being mistreated, you know, that sort of thing. But I don't want to get into the politics of all that. I know there's negatives and positives about Martin Luther King, as there are all of us. But it reminds me, too, that one thing I cannot tolerate is anybody being racist and demonstrating it, you know, like on the web. You know, every now and then on videos, I probably shouldn't even bring this up. You know, it's like having a female in your video, like Fate of Destiny was down. You would not believe, you would be ashamed. Well, I don't know if you'd be ashamed of shooters, because the people that leave those kinds of things are just low lives, really. Anyway, they're not probably us. You know, they're not a part of the shooting community, halfway mature people. But you know, I had to mark one of the Fate of Destiny videos for approval only on the comments. Well, I did it, I think, initially just because I suspected it, and man, is it a good thing I did. You would not believe, you would be really disappointed if you could see some of the comments that were made, and probably not all of them by, you know, goofy 15-year-olds or something, you know, really, unfortunately. I don't know, there's just this thing about being anonymous that gives people license to just totally reveal the brainless side. You know, I don't know. I don't know what you would do if my wife were really interested in shooting and wanted to be in the videos. It'd be hard to do it. How would you do it? You know, it's just the comments would be outrageous. They just I don't know. Anyway, that anonymity gives people so much confidence, I guess, and so you get the racist remarks occasionally. You know, people just blatant about that, and you know. Bigots are out there, unfortunately, and you just have to be careful leaving comments. You know, I mean, like, why leave a comment that's going to be insulting to anybody, really? I still cannot quite fathom that. You know, I don't know why. If I go to other videos and I'm motivated to leave a comment, it never crosses my mind to be critical. Am I that weird? I think most of you are probably that way. It's like, why be critical? If you got some suggestion for the person, send them a message and tell them, hey man, you might want to annotate that. You're really brainless on this one comment or something like that, you know. But I don't know, it's just grandstanding, showing off, you know, to diss somebody, trash them on their video, or make some stupid, obnoxious comment, or even one that can be interpreted as obnoxious. Or, yeah, I don't know. I always make sure I use the smiley face, or because with my sense of humor, I have to be very careful with that anyway. And but I never mean to be negative. Whenever I write an email or leave a comment or anything, that is never my intention. Never. It just amazes me that people do that. Not only do they do it, they reveal. They don't even mind. I guess if you're really a bigot, you don't care if people know. Maybe, I don't know. Especially if you're anonymous on the internet, right? While I'm talking about that, that's another reason I delete comments. I need to do, I guess, an FAQ on that or something too, so that everybody sees it. There's at least more people, maybe. But I delete a lot of comments about other YouTubers, even if they're not necessarily negative, or they're, the reason I do that is so many times, someone's comparing me with some other shooter or YouTuber, and it's usually complimentary, or they make some comment about somebody, FPS Russia or nothing fancy, or just anybody. And I may have talked about this before, senility strikes again, but I usually delete that stuff because it invariably ends up in some big argument about who's better, FPS Russia or Hickok or Nut Vance or so and so and so. It gets stupid. It gets stupid really quickly, and I don't tolerate any negative comments about any other YouTuber. I just don't, whether they're true or not. I don't. I just delete them, and I also delete most of those because they usually end up that way. Someone says something nice about Nothing Fancy or nice about FPS, it ends up 4 other people coming in, taking that opportunity, seizing the moment to differ. And so, the same way. And I've gone through that before, how, you don't really have freedom of speech in my living room. I'm sorry. It's just the way. Comments are all subject for approval. They're all subject. No comments are ever approved until I see it, and then don't delete it. That's kind of the way I look at it. Okay, not to start out with a negative note, but really, I hope you guys will help me. You guys that listen to these, generally, and gals, you are people that really like what we do, and I do solicit your assistance, as I have done before. This is just a reminder. Any way you can help. With that, let me know when there's something just atrocious on there somewhere on a video, because you're doing that. It's really nice. I really appreciate that, because I don't see them all, and I can go delete it or whatever. And because we are trying to keep this family friendly, and also I don't know. Feel free to be educational. A lot of the stuff is from people who are very immature, and that's because maybe they're young, I hope. And, maybe you can say something to them. Maybe you can send them a message. Give them a little lesson, not politically, but diplomatically. Let them know that if they want to really join the shooting community and be accepted, maybe start their own videos, be accepted and acceptable at the shooting range. They need to grow up a little bit and mature a little bit. Shooters generally are more mature. When I think about the teenagers I know that are into firearms, they are the ones who are more mature. They really are. That know more about firearms, partly because their parents have taken them hunting or shooting, and they have gotten a crash course in the reality, of the safety that's necessary and everything. So it's really good for teaching discipline, I think, and that's kind of what I see. Now, you don't see that always on the internet, do you? When people come in and you don't know what age people are. And, of course, we all have to give youngsters a little license for being idiots. We are all idiots when we're 12 or 13, I guess. But, that's just another way we can all help the community, maybe further the cause. Maybe we can turn some of these characters around a little bit. I don't know what you could actually say to them that would make a difference. You end up inciting them, I realize that. But I don't know, maybe a private message, and occasionally a sensible private message to them. Say, look, you're welcome, shooting community, and make comments, but you would be probably enjoy it a lot more if you made more mature comments, So anyway, just some rambling about that. I just, I don't know why. Maybe because I've been involved in a hobby almost all my life that is frowned upon by some people. So I feel like I'm a bit of a minority myself. I think we all are to some extent, although less and less so, right? It's great. Everybody's getting into shooting. I love it. But, because of that, I've always felt like in that regard, as kind of a minority, having a different interest. And I think differently about a lot of things. So I'm a little bit more sensitive about that. Anybody who is different, looks at things differently, has a different sort of hobby, and that kind of thing. I feel for them. I feel their pain, and so I don't know. I just have a problem with intolerance. In fact, I hate intolerant people. They ought to be hung. Nah, just kidding. That was a joke, right? Irony at its best. So anyway, just a few comments about that, and I'll quit rambling about that. It is a challenge. There's no doubt about it to keep anything that on the internet that is populated by thousands upon thousands of anonymous folks, of course. But it really do try to keep the politics and religion out of it. I've slipped a few times, back the first year or so doing this, but not too much. And in fact, it's coincidentally just this week I had a message from somebody that a long, heartfelt message, well written, about how they appreciated my not getting into politics and religion, and they were just extremely happy about that. And I think that's important. Some people don't take that approach, and that's okay. Some folks use the YouTube videos to kind of promote maybe their religion or politics, and it's a free country. You can do that. You could start a YouTube channel that was nothing but that. Of course, it gives everybody a stage to promote what they want. Shooting or your religion or the Republican Party or Democratic Party, whatever you want to do. So obviously that's a legitimate use. But we want to stay about shooting and and kind of keep it that way as much as possible. I'll slip occasionally. Regarding politics, you cannot ignore the fact that when it comes to the shooting, sports, the hobby, collecting firearms and everything, that it's hard to imagine anybody voting for anyone who is not supporting of individual liberties and freedoms, in that regard. So that's pretty obvious. But and then on a family-friendly note, I got a really nice message. I think he actually posted on one of the videos too, and I didn't see it until he sent it to me in a message, and then followed and added more to it. But he talked about having his grandson on Thursdays, I believe it was, and he keeps his grandson, and they watch the videos, Hickok videos. He said it's become Hickok45 night, and I forgot how old his grandson, 8, I think, maybe, or 10, I don't know, but they watch them, or maybe younger, I forget the age, but his grandson sounds real cute, and he's picked up the "Life is Good" motto he uses around the house and everything. That kind of stuff is really neat to see and hear. That we're doing a little bit more than just showing people about a firearm. That a lot of folks are just enjoying it and are able to sit and watch with their little ones. That's kind of neat, and they don't have Gunner's trying to fight his way in the door over here, had him locked out. But that's kind of special. It's nice to get that, and I do get those pretty often. So it's good to know. And while it's heartwarming, it's heartwarming to hear that, and of course feeds the old ego, I guess. But the real value in that, there's so much practical value in that too. Mm-hmm. We've got to reach the young people and set a good example for them. That's the bottom line right there. So I'm glad it's working out that way. I just and that's all the more reason to try to keep the some of these atrocious comments cleaned up as much as we can. So anyway, I hope you help me with that, and we'll keep on trucking. Now, speaking of firearms, I think it's time for the gun of the show. See if I can remember to actually do it this time and show you what it is before we wrap up. So I'm going to play with it here. Take this out, put it down. Okay, I heard a round fall out. Snapped it. There we go. Let's actually pull the trigger. Okay. Now, what can I say about this gun? It is a smallish gun, and it's probably one you haven't seen yet, or could be. Okay, so that really is tough. It is a firearm that has been pretty famous in movies back through the decades, and it's not too big. And it shoots something around 36 caliber. If that helps you. That'll just confuse some of you. They're new to shooting. So we'll get back to you at the end of the show with that one. As I speak to you, I guess, SHOT shows going on in Las Vegas. If you know what that is, that's the big shooting industry show, mainly for insiders, for the retailers. It's not something that anybody can go visit, but all the vendors are there, kind of like the NRA convention, except it's a lot of buying and selling goes on as far as writing orders, I guess, and the various manufacturers bring out their hottest, newest products. They usually save them for the SHOT Show or around the SHOT Show and everything. Keep thinking I'll go to that, and it just comes kind of at a bad time for me, just getting into the second semester of my educational endeavors, and I just not gone. I just focus on the NRA convention. It's easier to get to that, or has been, and it's mostly the same vendors are there and everything. But I've had so many messages this week, people wanting to know if I'll be there and all this. It's makes me wish I were there. But anyway, we'll see what comes out of the show. And I'm not, it's not been a big part of what we do. Maybe it's becoming more of it a little bit with some of the newer guns, but to go around to all the booths and show and talk about the new firearms, I don't know. We might do some of that when we do go. I don't know. It's just not a big part of what we do. But if it were, we'd make it a point to be there. But having the first video on the newest gun on the market isn't necessarily our focus. It's kind of fun to do that occasionally, but most of the guns we get later. We get them after they've been out a while, and it doesn't matter. Not a big deal. Colt single action videos I've done, I think are some pretty good videos. Some of my favorite things to do, and I think that came out in 1873, so we were a little late on that one, weren't we? We missed the SHOT Show when that was introduced. Nah, maybe next year. We will be at the NRA convention, planning to be there, and hope to see you there. The neat thing about the NRA convention, one reason I like that better, is I get to meet a whole bunch of you guys, usually gals and youngsters. And that increases every year, it seems. So that's in April in St. Louis. So if you are going to the NRA convention, look for me and be sure to say hi. I wish there were an easy way to get together with more of you. I run into you guys at gun shows and Knob Creek and all over the place, and occasionally at Walmart or Wendy's or somewhere. But people have asked me about setting up somewhere and just have a meet and greet somehow. But I'm not sure. We're so busy. I'd be delighted to do that, because anybody wants to talk guns, I'm always ready to talk guns. So we kind of, I guess, done that at the gun shows and Knob Creek and anywhere. So I don't mind talking guns, wherever you are. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be there, and so at the NRA convention in St. Louis. So look me up. Just look for the biggest, ugliest guy walking around, all glazed, his eyes all glazed over from seeing so many cool guns. How's that? So we'll probably see you there if you're there. Yeah, speaking of new guns, we've been doing some videos with some different guns lately. Some of these you've not seen. We try to, when we get time together and the weather's decent, we try to do several videos on a weekend if we can. Doesn't mean we're going to post 3 in one day, but we have some I think may enjoy coming out. Since you guys are listening to the boring radio show, you get a little more information than others. Or if you are checking out following me on Twitter. I put a lot of this on Twitter too. I mean, I don't go in there every hour or every day even, but I'll usually I'll just make a random comment there occasionally. I'm trying to post whenever I post a video, go over to Twitter and mention that I've posted it, that kind of thing. I don't always remember it, but I'm getting where I'm using it a little bit more. And but anyway, well, first of all, the Ruger SR22 is supposed to have one of those in the mail, so we'll be testing one of those here. I don't know, maybe next weekend, don't know. And what else have we been shooting lately? I've got some old favorites out lately that we've not posted. The Mini 14, we did a chapter 2 with it. That it was fun. That gun, I like it more every time I get it out. We've done the one video with the Mini 14, and it's kind of interesting because we have another video we'll be posting at some point here. I'm almost ashamed to post it. We did a chapter 2 with the AK-74 that I had borrowed, and I like that gun. But in the chapter 2, I struggled hitting those little steel targets over there. I mean, part of it's you can't tell exactly where you're missing, with the naked eye. Now, as you zoom, you can, but when you're watching it, but it's not really clear where I'm hitting. Naked eye, iron sights, and my right eye I have to use on a rifle. But it doesn't shoot as poorly as I make it out to shoot in that video. It's not a good video for selling AK-74s, I guess, but that gun shoots just fine. I was struggling at times. We'll go ahead and post it. That's the reality of what we do. But ironically or coincidentally, we did a chapter 2 with the Mini 14 just a few days later. And if we were to post those side by side, I guess it would be a great sales pitch for the Mini 14. It really would, just iron sights, but I was popping those things pretty well with it. And I probably hitting all the same targets. If you've seen the chapter 2 videos that we've been doing the last year, I guess over there with those 1-inch thick steel targets, the small ones, and some are larger, but from about 90, 100 yards. I mean, you would think it was a sales pitch for the Mini 14. It was all set up almost, but I don't know. It all comes down to the sights and, of course, where the guns hit. I think I was a little long figuring out on the AK-74 that I was shooting high. I know when I looked at that video on one of the smaller ones over there, I was putting them in a group of baseball just above the target over and over and over again. But anyway, that's kind of what you do. When you're out shooting, we try to make these semi-real, and if you're out just plinking yourself, that's what you do. That's what happens, isn't it? You're shooting and you're missing. You're not sure where you're missing. And you keep shooting and you finally kind of figure it out maybe, and then you go on. And so in the interest of realism, we will probably go ahead and post it. Just be aware of that. Maybe get a bigger cup of coffee as you sit and watch that, and don't get frustrated. I eventually do knock everything down. I'll say that. And that is a fun gun and a fun caliber to shoot. I was pleasantly surprised with the AK-74. It's wouldn't mind having one maybe someday. I prefer the 7.62 by 39, a little bit over that round, but boy, it's sweet to shoot. It would really be sweet in full auto. Yeah. So anyway, enjoy that Mini 14, getting it back out. That thing's a jewel, it really is. I see why there's so many huge fans of that. You've probably seen the PMR 30 video. That's an interesting gun. We've done a second video with that one. And you may or may not have seen by the time we post the radio show. We're looking at the posting schedule all the time, of course. That's a very interesting firearm. The second video went smoothly. I had no hang-ups or any problems at all. There were a couple things with that first video that I wasn't even sure what was happening. I think I figured out that I did hit the magazine release. I think I was kind of rapid firing it. And it quit, and I thought I thought the hammer was dropping on a round that just didn't fire, but there was really no round in the chamber, so it didn't. Unless you look at that video and you see one racked out, that there was not one in there, I don't think. And so what I must have done was I hit the mag release, so someone pointed out a tap rack bang would have taken care of that, but it just didn't pick up a round, so that was really my fault. And the slide, not a couple of times, it was locked back, and I had a little difficulty getting it to go forward. I don't remember exactly what was going on there. That didn't happen after that video, in shooting it, messing around with it, or in the second video. So just try to keep you all posted. I have no investment in Kel-Tec or anything. I have no desire to trash them or to praise them unjustifiably. That gun's a strange bird. I don't know that I would want one. You know, that's a loner gun. I probably would not buy one. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could be right up your alley, you know. But as I say in the second video, you just don't know. I just don't know. I'd have to shoot it a few thousand times to know really how reliable it actually is, you know. So, but I mean, it did pretty well. I mean, for what it was, it did fine. I think that's the newer generation of it. I know several comments on that video, and in reading around a little bit more, apparently the guns have had some issues. The earlier barrels were tumbling bullets, I read somewhere. The fluted barrels, and this barrel's not fluted. So this is I guess the latest model, because it is a new gun, the latest model. So maybe they fixed whatever those problems were. I don't know. So anyway, just for whatever that's worth, I don't know. But the gun did pretty well, and very interesting firearm. If that's what you're looking for, something that holds 30 rounds in a flush magazine, 22 Magnum. That is it, I guess. We've got videos coming on the SIG P238, and a couple of videos with that little gun. Nice little gun. Probably have something with a PPK-S coming up pretty soon. And, well, not real soon, perhaps. What else we got here? Shall I tell you everything? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I bought a Versa Thunder concealed carry. Did a video with it. And we'll be posting here down the road. And it's first video. And what shooting I have done with it since picking it up a few days ago. It's no problems at all. Seems like a pretty cool little gun. For the money, hard to beat. I won't just repeat everything I tell you in the videos, you know, but you know, you could do a lot worse than that gun, I'll tell you. Not bad at all. Not bad. You know, even after all this time, I'm still getting a lot of these crazy questions. As you can tell from the FAQs, you know, really get, and you see those questions. And yeah, questions I've done FAQs on, that, oh man, I don't know how many times I get the question a week, a day, about which gun's better, you know, which caliber, 9 or 40, and which Glock, 19 or 23, you know, all those same questions just over and over and over. You know, any way y'all can help me, help educate these people, the new shooters, and new people to the channel, to remind them maybe to check the FAQs. You know, maybe we should create a door into the channel where you can't get in, or you can't ask a question. You can't message me until you've it's been verified technologically that you have seen all the FAQs or something. Oh man, and I know there's a lot of them. They're all usually, I mean, they're pretty short, but I don't know, it's just part of it. But anything you guys can do to help me remind people to check out the FAQs, because that's really why I do them. I mean, it's for survival, for one thing. They're fun doing them. I guess on the big picture is I've gotten into communicating a lot because I can type fast, and I try to find the time to do it here and there. So I do communicate a lot with people, and so they expect even more. But when you get right down to it, the videos are the information flow, really. And I might come off as rude to some folks. You know, they write me, well, what do you think about the Glock 23? Would you recommend it over this other? You know, sometimes I'll just have to say, because I don't have time to spend on any individual video message very long. I'll just have to say, well, check out my Glock videos, and I think you'll get an impression there what I think about it. You know, I mean, that's where you know, the information is. That is the main thing. The videos are it. You know, when you're doing videos, that's what generally trying to do. Give my impression of this gun, where it fits, and whether I like it or not. And so I get 100 messages. Well, what do you think of the Glock 27? Well, check out the videos. So I don't mean to be rude if I do that. And again, most of you all that are listening to this are not the ones that are asking those kinds of questions, but it's in the videos, and I know you can't check all the videos out in one day if you're new to the channel, but it just continues. So any help you can give me in that regard, you experienced shooters, or those of you who know what I think about things, if you see a comment especially, because quite often I don't even try to answer all the comments, but that's a good place where you could do that. And I forget, it's not like we established this community of people a year and a half ago or something, and the same people are asking to say a dumb question or something. They should know better, because I talked about that 6 months ago or whatever. The growth, as you can see, is phenomenal. And it's just amazing to me. I thought it was amazing when we were getting a couple hundred new subscribers a day, and then 250. And I think the last month we've averaged 400 new subscribers a day. That's just unbelievable. It fluctuates, from month to month. It may be 350 next month. The last couple of days was 500 a day. It's just phenomenal. I don't know where all these people are that all of a sudden discover the shooting videos. I'm glad they're discovering them. And so there's this whole new world of people, new viewers, every week, 2,000 or 3,000. Maybe, so you got to remember that, and I forget that sometimes, and they certainly all don't, have the time or have not had the time to go back through all the videos or the FAQs. So I try to not be rude, but there's only so much time, and any help you guys can give me, I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and come clean on the gun of the day, gun of the show, because I'm pretty bad about not doing that. The gun is the Walther. It's PPKS, and that's what it is, 380. I don't know if you're familiar with these guns. It's that's really what the Versa Thunder CC concealed carry is. It's a clone, pretty much, of the PPK, and that's what got me interested in the PPK again. To some extent, I miss the PPK I used to own. I had one back in the sorry about that. I had one back in the 80s. 80s. And it was just a nifty little gun. And, you go back into the 80s, early 80s, there weren't nearly the choices we have today, especially with polymer frames and different things for a small gun. So at that point, you could not do a whole lot better, really, than a PPK for a small concealable firearm. And in fact, I used the one I had sometimes as backup when I was working with the sheriff's department. And then I also carried. I was licensed to carry in Tennessee, being a sheriff's deputy. So all through the 90s, I would carry it some. It just a nifty gun. Those of you who are familiar with it know what I'm talking about. And the Versa concealed carry is kind of a polymer frame version. Well, it's an alloy frame version of that, so it's lighter. It actually makes more sense in a lot of ways, because it seems as reliable or more reliable, and it's lighter, as I point out in the video we did with it. But we'll do a comparison video, probably the real Walther PPKS and say the Versa Thunder concealed carry at some point here. But there's just something special about the gun. I fired it enough. It's function fine. This is a used one I picked up recently. They got a really good buy on it. Stainless, and I don't know. There's something. It's kind of like a 1911, I guess. There's just something about it that gets to you. When you pick it up and you hold it. It's not because I've seen too many James Bond movies. It just feels great. And the design of it and everything is just really cool. I don't know, what can I say? It's not something that is better. When I look at it, of course, there's some great 380 ammo out there. I've got some of the Hornady Critical Defense I was testing. It functions just fine and hits hard. So that's why I was carrying in it. But, when you get right down to it, why would I carry that over the PM9? I can probably shoot the PM9 better. It shoots a 9mm, and it's lighter, and I think it's even smaller. I haven't checked the thickness, but but it's kind of like the 1911, as I say. If you like 1911s, you know what I'm talking about. The Glock is probably, in general, more reliable. Takes less tweaking to make sure it's reliable, of course, which you don't even have to do with the Glock. The Glock is lighter. It's like you decide to carry, and you've got a Glock 23, let's say, and you have a Glock or a 1911 Commander or even full size, whatever. You're trying to decide which one of those to carry. Oh, let's see. Do I carry the 8-shot, 8 or 9-shot 1911 that weighs 40 pounds, or do I carry this Glock 23, I get 13 plus 1, it's light and really shootable and utterly reliable. Yeah, so, but you still, there's that romance associated with the 1911. You can't get away from whether you ever carry it or not. They're just cool to shoot and to own. And I guess that's where I put this PPK. I just like it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And when you start comparing it with a few other great carry guns I have, I can't shoot it better than some of the other guns that size or even smaller, but I just like it. I don't know what I can say. Pick one, shut up, phone. Just pick one up sometime in a shop or a gun show, and you'll know what I mean. But that's what it is, and we'll do some videos with it here at some point. It's a beautiful little piece of steel and plastic. It has a plastic grip or grip panels, but other than that, it's all steel. Well, I guess I better wrap up. Enough gun talk for one day here, and hope you guys get a chance to shoot this winter. It's winter here in the United States, in Tennessee. We've been pretty lucky with weather so far. John and I have been able to get out and do some videos. It hasn't been too bad yet. Of course, we're entering potentially the worst part of the winter here in late January and February, and hopefully we get some snow. I love doing a video when it's 6 inches of snow, just to get something out. It's just fun to walk through the woods and shoot something. I know last winter we were fortunate. If you've seen the 4570 video we did with a guide gun in the beautiful snow. It was hanging. It was a wet snow, a heavy snow, just hanging heavy on all the trees and cedars and everything. And we did a woods walk with that. If you haven't seen that, look that one up. It was, I don't know, about this time last year, I guess, but I think it's called guide gun woods walk or something. I think we did one with a Garand, maybe even the Mosine in the snow. Just, I don't know, it's kind of neat, or something different. And but anyway, we've been able to get out some, and whatever the weather is, we'll get something out. Oh, I know, we did something with the 590, I think, the A1 Mossberg shotgun in the snow. That's another gun I need to get out. I really like that gun. Fun to shoot. But we will continue on, and we appreciate you guys watching and listening, and helping us out as much as you can. We appreciate the folks that have lent us firearms. That's kind of cool, and with no strings attached. The more firearms we get like that, or that we purchase, trade around for, and everything, probably the better. And just give you our honest opinion of things from our perspective. Yeah, hopefully it helps a little bit. So anyway, hope you can get a chance to shoot, and that you can do whatever you can to keep firearms on the front burner and be a positive influence for shooters and the shooting endeavors, because that's the most valuable thing we can probably do, as well as support the organizations like the NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, and those lobbying groups that make a big difference. So hopefully you're not a freeloader, and that you're helping in that regard as well. So we will chat with you at another point. Y'all take care.